The reading for this morning is taken from the 8th chapter of Luke's Gospel, verses 26 through 39. Jesus and his disciples arrived at the country of the Gerasenes, which is opposite Galilee. As he stepped out on land, a man of the city who had demons met him. For a long time he had worn no clothes, and he did not live in a house, but in the tombs. When he saw Jesus, he fell down before him and shouted at the top of his voice, "What have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beg you, do not torment me." For Jesus had commanded the unclean spirit to come out of the man. For many times it had seized him. He was kept under guard and bound with chains and shackles, but he would break the bonds and be driven by the demon into the wilds. Jesus then asked him, "What is your name?" He said, "Legion," for many demons had entered him. They begged him not to order them to go back into the abyss. Now there on the hillside a large herd of swine was feeding, and the demons begged Jesus to let them enter these. So he gave them permission. And then the demons came out of the man and entered the swine, and the herd rushed down the steep bank into the lake and was drowned. When the swineherd saw what had happened, they ran off and told it in the city and in the country. Then people came out to see what had happened. And when they came to Jesus, they found the man from whom the demons had gone sitting at the feet of Jesus, clothed and in his right mind. And they were afraid. Those who had seen it told them how the one who had been possessed by demons had been healed. Then all the people of the surrounding country of the Gerasenes asked Jesus to leave them, for they were seized with great fear. So he got into the boat and returned. The man from whom the demons had gone begged that he might be with him. But Jesus sent him away, saying, "Return to your home and declare how much God has done for you." So he went away, proclaiming throughout the city how much Jesus had done for him. The word of the Lord. One of the advantages of having been a professor of biology is that it frees me to take the spiritual world seriously. That may sound like a paradox, but it isn't. I know the great value, but also the limits of science. I'm also aware of the forces that lead us toward God or tempt us to walk away from God. Those that separate us from God are often called demons in the Bible. And that doesn't bother me because I know that giving a name to something makes it easier to confront. Discerning whether a particular spirit leads us toward or away from God, however, is not always easy. The ancients often warned against trusting the appearance of would-be angels because they knew that it might be the devil in disguise. On the other hand, sometimes evil is obvious. What resides in the Gerasene man in the story we just heard is an entire Roman legion worth of spirits, evil spirits, demons. That graphically describes how he must have felt to be possessed by them. No wonder he couldn't be controlled. And no wonder the people of the region had such great fear when they found him in his right mind, clothed and sitting with Jesus. They depended on having him as the identified location of all of the region's evil. Now that he was free, they would have to face the evil within themselves. We no longer talk about demons in everyday language, but obviously evil still exists. How do we test the spirits in our own time? How do we know which lead us toward God and which would have us separated from God? Here we come to a real problem, not only because the spirits can be disguised, but, like the Gerasene people, we are always preferring to look away from ourselves. All I would have to do is identify evil in some political figure or national issue to show how little self-reflection we actually have. The responses I get would either be a yes, or else an angry look, and perhaps even turning off this particular reflection. St. Paul was right when he gave his list of things, included in his list of things opposed to the Spirit, enmity, strife, anger, quarrels, dissension, and factions. Like the Gerasenes, we want evil to be out there, in someone else whom we can demonize. Jesus never did that. Jesus focused on healing, not condemnation. In today's passage, he allowed the legion of spirits to go into the pigs as they wished. One might say he even had compassion for those demons by commanding them to do what they asked. I see at least two lessons in the story today. One is that, of course, Jesus always has power over what draws us away from God. Jesus is always ready to heal us, and God is always waiting for us to turn back toward him, always willing to receive us back. More importantly, the story invites us to discern the spirits more carefully, especially the ones that attempt us to identify evil in someone outside of us. What if we focused instead on what it is within us that wants us to make others look evil? What if, like Jesus, we were more interested in healing and reconciliation than in condemnation? It's work that we can't do alone. It requires the support of a community of love. It requires a place where people know that they are prone to judging others, where they don't always live by their values, yet they want to do better and to be accountable to others. They're convinced that they have been redeemed by Jesus Christ and forgiven by God. There is a place like that. I call it the church. And that's why I'm a priest these days rather than a biology professor. I found that teaching science is great, but leading a community of love is even better. What a place to live, redeemed by God, forgiven. A place where we know that we are loved and where we'll do better, where others will support us throughout our lives. Amen.